Hello and welcome! This is Mouse Gunner, and I'm going to be starting a brand new series covering Rimworld. Now, this game I'm very excited for, and I've been waiting for it to come out on Steam, and now that it's out on Steam, I can start playing it and covering it in a series. Now, what is Rimworld? Rimworld, the best way to describe it is it's a Dwarf Fortress-inspired game, so there are similarities between Dwarf Fortress and Rimworld, and it has an aesthetic that's somewhat similar to Prison Architect, although they are pretty different games. So if we start a new colony here, one of the things they recently added into the game is different scenarios. Now, earlier versions of the game that you could play as before it was on Steam only had one scenario, and it's the crash landed scenario. So that with that scenario, you crash landed on a Rimworld. Now, what a Rimworld is it's a frontier planet that's on the edges of civilized parts of the galaxy. So they're not really, there is population there, but it's not really as well established. So it's kind of a blending of sci-fi and Western motifs, kind of like Firefly and things like that. So the crash landed scenario, you've crashed on that planet, you have survival pods, and you have a few members that you're going to establish a colony with. Now, this is the scenario we're going to be playing as, but just to go over some of the other scenarios that come with the base game, you have the Rich Explorer. So this guy has not crash landed, so you don't have that event happen, and you only have one person as opposed to three, but you have more resources to start with. Then you have Lost Tribe, where you have more people, again, no crash landing this time, but you have less resources to work with and less technology to start with. You're more tribal level, obviously. And another thing that you can do with this new feature is you can make scenarios of your own, which is very interesting. But as I said, this is my first real playthrough, so I'm going to go with Crash Landed instead. So what we start with is 3 people. We start with various resources, and let's go ahead and get started. The next choice we have to make is what AI storyteller we want to have. Now, the AI storyteller determines events that happen throughout the course of play. So as they mentioned here, pirate raids, resource drops, things like that. That's what the AI storyteller is going to determine. Now, Cassandra Classic is more or less the standard choice, as the name implies, and Cassandra starts things off at a steady increasing curve of challenges that it says here. So it starts off with less challenge in the beginning, and then it ticks up over time to be more challenging events as you play through. The next AI storyteller is Phoebe Chillax, which works similarly to the way Cassandra works. It's just that curve takes a lot longer to come up, and it doesn't ever really get as challenging. So if you want to have just a playthrough where, you want to figure out mechanics and you don't really want a lot of things coming out and affecting your play, this is the AI storyteller for you. And the last of the AI storytellers is Randy Random. Now, Randy Random doesn't care about a progression curve. He's going to give you events from the beginning that could be difficult. He could give you events later down that are very easy. He doesn't really care about that time span. He's just going to give you events periodically, and they're going to be varying difficulties. And on top of that, you also, once you pick what storyteller you're going to choose, and we're going to be choosing Cassandra Classic, because again, this is the standard choice here, and I want to have a standard playthrough for my first one. You also get to choose what overall difficulty you want. So you have free play, which is, more of a sandbox style, base builder, which is a little bit more easy difficulty, and then you have rough, which is kind of your standard difficulty, which is probably what we're going to go for, and then you have challenge and extreme. So I'm going to go with rough because that's kind of the medium difficulty setting. And I'm not going to select permadeath because I'm recording the game and sometimes things happen, so I have to re-record things, so definitely not going to be doing that choice. All right, now that we have everything selected, let's go and get our world. So we have a seed. It's given me bud. That's fine. Last time I think it was leather or something like that when I did my test playthrough just to get the mechanics of the game. We have how big our world is going to be. I'll just go with the standard size here of 200, 150. As this is my first playthrough, I'll just go with whatever the default is. All right, we're going to have a world generated here. So this is the world I have to play on. And I can move around on that world, and I can set up my colony wherever I want. I can zoom in here and kind of jump around. I wonder what this red block means. All right, so this is a temperate forest. Oh, okay, there's a faction here, a pirate band right here. But we can see some things about the tile that we're on. So average temperature, how cold it gets in the winter, how warm it gets in the summer, how long we can expect the growing season to last, things like that. So as we come down south, more towards the equator, we're going to see that the temperature rises and the growing period is going to be longer. So, for instance, if I go up into the northern areas up here, we'll see that the temperature is a lot colder and the growing season can be even all the way to never. Or if you go into more warmer climates, you can have year-round growing periods. I'm probably going to go with something like that, and I actually want kind of more a coastal region like what we have right now. So let's see, we've got average temperature 52 in the winter and 83 in the summer. That's pretty nice weather overall, and average temperature is 68. Let's see if we can find something. Looks like most of these areas are pretty much the same. You know what, I'll go with this spot right here. We got a nice coastal area. We're in temperate forest, so there should be plenty of trees. Now, one thing I could go for, though, is a more mountainous region so that we have more mining to do. But if I go over here, we're close-ish to hills. And we have some of the same weather, although we're not necessarily hills. We go here, that's large hills. I don't know if we're going to be able to get hills and coast at the same time. You know what? For my first playthrough, I kind of like the idea of coast. So I'm going to go with this spot right here. So we've got average temperature of 69.5 Fahrenheit. I've switched things to Fahrenheit. I apologize to those of you that are more familiar with Celsius, but I'm an American, and that's what we use. So we're going to have at coldest 53.8 and at warmest 85.2. So that's really nice weather. We're in a forest, so again, lots of trees. We might not have as many things to mine, but we'll work with that. So we'll select our site. And now we have our colonist overall. So one thing that I'm going to want to look for is people that are not really incapable of doing much of anything. For instance, this guy is incapable of firefighting, which is not really great. Unless he has some attributes that are really good outside of that, I'm not going to really be much of a fan of this guy. Now, he's heat tolerant, which means he's good in hotter climates, but we're not really in a hot climate necessarily, so I'm not sure that's really needed. And jealous, which is probably going to mean that he doesn't get along well with the other colonists, so that is not going to be great. So this guy, outside of the fact that he's got decent medicine skill, is not really looking like somebody I want. And he also has cryptosleep sickness, but that's not really a big deal. A lot of our guys are going to have that. All right, so we also have this guy who can't do much of anything. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this guy right away because this is just an awful start. So randomize. So we've got a teenager, age 14. Wow, she can't do a lot of anything either, but she's really good with animals. And mining is pretty decent. But I don't like the fact that she can't do either intellectual things or dumb labor or crafting. That makes her not a whole lot useful for us, so let's randomize. Okay, now we've got an age 47 person, can't do dumb labor, skilled labor, caring, or social. Well, that's, I mean, as you can see, a lot of things ticked off here. She's pretty good at shooting and combat overall, and got good animal skill, but when you can only do 4 or 5 things. After going through my choices, I've settled on 3 ladies, so I have renamed all of them. Sally Mae is pretty proficient with medicine, although low in a lot of other skills. She's not incapable of doing anything, so she can do pretty much anything. And traits-wise, she's pretty. This is a little bit of a problem. She likes to have nice bedrooms, which is going to be a problem early on. She's going to have a mood penalty because of that. And she's also a jogger, which is nice. It means she has more movement speed. And she's relatively young. Then we have Sally Sue, who is good at a lot of skills and has interest in a lot of skills as well. So those skills will improve quickly. Very good at research. She has had an adulthood as a human computer, so I'd hope so. But because of that, she is not very, well, she's incapable of artistic endeavors, but that's okay. I don't think that's as big of a deal, and it's not something we need early on. She is a heat lover, which may be a problem. I'm not exactly sure because minimum comfortable is 72. I'm sorry, plus 7.2 Fahrenheit. So it might not be warm enough for her, but it will never be cold enough that would bother her, I would assume. She is also psychically sensitive, which may be a problem as well. But based off of the skills, I felt like we had to take her. Then we have Sally Joe, who's going to be more of our combat-oriented character. So we've got shooting as one of her better attributes, as well as melee as well. But she's good at social, which is good. She's not incapable of doing anything. She's also an optimist, steadfast, and a night owl. Night owl means that she's going to be more active during the night than the day. She's not going to be happy during the day. And we might have to change her schedule for where she sleeps and what have you. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy. Sally Sue's kind of a weak point in a couple areas because of the psychically sensitive, and maybe because of the heat lover, and then artistic is kind of a problem, but skills-wise, very good. And we have our 3 Sallys, and I think we're ready to go. Alright, we've loaded in and we have the start of the game with this message. The 3 of you awake in your cryptosleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. Okay. Here comes our escape pods, and we have landed. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to also grab all of these. Oh, I didn't want to grab Sally Joe there. All of these supplies and unforbid them. Alright, there's probably various supplies here and there that we're going to have to unforbid. So let's take a look at our situation here. So we can see the actual train here. So we have water over here, and an area that we can dig into. We've got water all along here because this was along the coast, and we've got the coast itself. Oh, we've got some supplies over there. Let's go ahead and grab that. That's why it's good to kind of scope out the area, because you never really know where supplies have dropped from the ship. And then down to the south here, not really seeing anything. But I mean, there's lots of trees, so we'll have no shortage of wood. What is this? Is this just marble, limestone, steel wall? We'll probably want to deconstruct these for steel. Okay. I'm not seeing a ton of animals. I do see some, but not a ton. Like we have these muffalos over here. And we do have a structure over here that's made out of slate, although it's a little bit incomplete. It's also a little bit on the small side and far away from anything, so I don't know if I'd want to start there. We do have a limestone wall over here. Now, one thing, if I remember correctly from my playthrough, we have a structure right over here. So, what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to set up my first little colony area, or the habitation that we're going to have, into this area. So we've got granite walls. We've got some rocks, which we can't do anything. But the thing I was going to say is you don't start with stone cutting, so you can't really do anything with the bits of rock here at the moment until we research that. So what I'm going to do, come in here, and we're going to start with a couple of zones. So the first zone I'm going to have is going to be a dumping stockpile, so we can get these stones out of our way. And I'm going to put it kind of on the beach here. Let's select that and set up for storage. Probably what it already has is fine for now. And then I would like to give an order to haul things, and we're going to haul all these out of the way. And then we're going to set up a zone for a stockpile in here. And we may have to roof this area. We'll have to see. Let's select this. And storage, I don't think I want rotten things in here. But pretty much everything else I think I'm happy with. As long as it's just... no, we don't want human-like corpses. That would be not good. What I would like is probably animal corpses. And then we can turn that off from over here. Because we could use the animal corpses to make food with. Okay, so we're good there. Alright, well, I think we're ready to go. And I'll unforbid anything. Oh, I actually have to set them up. I forget. Who was our shooter? Was it Sally May, I believe? I can reconfirm that with the characters. So, no, it was Let's see. I mean, Sally Sue isn't bad with shooting, but I remember somebody was our primary. Yeah, so it's Sally Joe. Okay, so Sally Joe, I would like you to pick up the survival rifle. And Sally Sue, you are not a bad shot, so you can have the pistol. And then Sally Mae, you're going to start with the knife. And then we'll unforbid these things here and this. Okay, and we also start with a dog. Let's take a look at that. So it's a male dog. Okay, we do get some things to kind of tutorial things off the bat. All right, so why don't we start teaching this dog how to haul, if it isn't already taught. Okay. And again, we just have to look around and make sure there's not any supplies. Ooh, this is something we want to do something about. So we've got some ship chunks here that we can deconstruct. And another thing I'm going to want to do is set up my work. So I'm going to do manual here. Well, we can let time go on. So we want high priority for firefighting, obviously. All right, it wants me to look at the history tab. And then what does it want me to do? Oh, okay. That went away. So there's going to be some tutorial things that it asks us to do. All right, let's go back to the work here. All right, so yeah, we want them to be patients, obviously. If they're hurt, they need to go and get bed rest. All right, doctoring. Oh, wow, we actually have 2 people that are just as competent at doctoring. So I will give them both a decent priority. Bed rest, obviously, if you're tired, go to bed. And flick switches, we'll make that a low priority, but everybody. Okay, warden is prisoner type stuff. You are our most skilled, so I will do that for you. And then we've got handle. This is, I think, animals. And we don't actually have a lot of proficiency in this. But I'll set Sally Sue and Sally Joe to be equal because they are equal in skill. Cooking. Now, this isn't a skill that I really gave a priority when I was getting my colonists. And it looks like Sally Sue is going to be the best at that. And then we have hunting, which is going to be Sally Joe for sure. Well, we'll make that a little bit lower priority. Because right now, we don't need it. Construction, I want everybody doing some construction. But obviously, Sally Joe is going to be our best one. Repair. I guess I'll give you a little bit of priority, but you're, again, the most skilled. Growing, I want that a higher priority. And then everybody else, I'm just going to give 1 level in. Mining, again, have low-level priority here. And then plant cut, again, low-level priority so that jobs get done. Speaking of plant cut, let's go ahead and have some orders here to cut plants. Or actually, we can chop wood here. All of the wood that is near the base. Now, some of these plants are not going to get ordered to be cut. Another thing we can do for food is we can harvest some plants that are near the base. Or berries. To give us some food. Okay. Let's go back to the work here. So we were on plant cut. Smithing. I think I'll just let the person that's the most skilled take care of that. Tailor. Again, I think it's going to go that route. Looks like Sally Joe is the most indispensable member. But considering that... Actually, she is not the most high-skilled character, too. So, nice to have her good at so many things. Okay, so hauling, that needs to be a higher priority for sure. Right now, some of these other things aren't as important, so I'm not really worried about it. Cleaning, I want to make a lower priority for now. And then research, that is something that Sally Sue is here for, so definitely you'll be doing that once it becomes a thing that we can do. Okay, so I think we're pretty much set up. The one thing I do want to start working on, though, is building somewhere to sleep. This is our storage area. We need somewhere to sleep. Now, I could have them just sleep in here, but I think we have plenty of room to build some things. We have plenty of wood. So let's go ahead and start with some wood walls. And I think I'm going to come off here somewhere. We'll do maybe a nice 5x5 bedroom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just do a wall down like that. And that's a nice 5x5 bedroom. We'll have everybody sleep in there for now. But that is going to be the setup. Now, I might need to prioritize construct for some of these guys. So they'll do it. But right now, hauling is probably the highest priority. So we'll just stick with that for now. Ooh, we've got some supplies over here that I missed. And considering that that is food, that is definitely something we want. I'm just going to case the area, make sure I haven't missed anything. But there is going to be... Ooh, yeah, see there. Got something there. Steel, we'll definitely need that. Now, one thing I noticed in my other playthrough when I was on the coast, because I did another coastal start, there were sometimes things that would float ashore. Now, that could have just been a dynamic of certain things that were on that particular map, the reason that happened. But that might be something I have to keep an eye on, is just seeing if anything floats ashore that we'd want. But I'm not seeing any other supplies. There is a possibility I'm overlooking something, but it doesn't look like it. Is this slate wall? Okay. How far away is that steel wall? It's down here, right? There's a couple steel walls and then maybe some steel floors. We can deconstruct that for steel if we need it. Right now, I don't think that's a high priority, so I'm not going to tell them to do it. What I might do is grab Sally Joe, or honestly, whoever's best at construction here. Let's actually see. So who's the best? Yeah, Sally Joe. Let's grab you and have you prioritize working on the wooden wall, because I want this done before night falls. Probably want to pick this crap up too. So I'm going to go ahead and give the order to haul all of these to get them out of the way, because they're going to slow down movement. As you could see, Sally Joe is crossing that, and it slowed her down dramatically. Also, we're going to have to cut down these trees. So, chop that. Chop that. Because that's like right where our door is going to be. And chop this. And this. This is going to be inside the room. And once we're done hauling all the things we've done, we can actually speed up here. Once we're done hauling all the things, I think we can get on to finishing off this area. Oh, one area I did want to check is zones. Make sure this is a roofed area, which it isn't. We're going to go ahead and mark that. And then we'll mark the other zone once it's finished. Now, what happened to Sally Joe here? I guess she only prioritized grabbing that one or building that one wall. Now, another thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to set up... I can't remember who it is that is my night owl. I'm going to have to find out. So... is it Sally Joe? It is Sally Joe. So Sally Joe's going to have a different sleep schedule than everybody else. And I think I'm going to do that now. So Sally Joe, what I'd like you to do is... ooh, not work. Anything. Give you 8 hours of sleep during the day. As a matter of fact, maybe I will move that a little bit differently. So, got 7, There's your 8. So you're kind of sleeping midday here. You're going to have some period that you're not happy, but I can't have you sleep any more than that. Okay. Oh, she's stargazing. So Sally Joe's not going to sleep through the night. Instead, she's going to do construction while the rest of the other colonists are sleeping. When she's done with what she's doing right now, I may actually have her prioritize to cut down these plants because this is starting to drive me crazy. But in a way, having a night owl is going to be good because we get work done in the night when normally we wouldn't. Oh, what the heck? Sally Joe just... Oh, well, she might have passed out just from being tired. We could keep her up. Let's have her prioritize cutting the oak tree. This will make her unhappy, but... What time is she supposed to go to bed? 7? Okay. And right now, it's 1 in the morning. Okay, now you can go and cut that down. We're just going to keep her up until roughly the period she's supposed to be sleeping. Which, again, is going to make her upset, but... Okay. Eating a meal. And we'll have her prioritize the wooden wall. I don't want to have too many nights where they're sleeping out in the open. Again, I would like you to prioritize construction wood wall, please. Okay, and then I would like you to cut down the oak tree. Again, we're going to keep you awake. Go closer to your sleeping period. Let's see how upset she is about that. She's tired. Yeah, I know you're tired, but we'll get you sleeping when you need to here in a second. Okay, and one more. Cut that down, and then you can go to bed. And I'll be a little bit happier with that situation. Because you'll be closer to that 7 that you're supposed to be sleeping. Okay, now you can go to bed. And the other 2 should be waking up soon. We'll just let them wake up naturally. Oh wow, they're still sleeping. There we go. Sally Mae's up. They're eating their meals. They're hauling. And what I think I'm going to do is set up... Well, I guess I can have time tick while I'm doing this. Some floors out of wood in here. So they're not sleeping on the ground. I guess I'll do that as well. Then I'd also like a wooden door there. Considering how they don't have anything else to do, they'll do this. And then maybe during this day we'll be able to get either beds constructed, or at the worst we get sleeping areas for them done. And let's take a look at the zones for the roofed area. So we're going to need to expand that. And then eventually we're going to make enough bedrooms so that everybody can sleep. I'll probably make this a hallway that's too wide. So we'll bring a wall up here, and then we'll put the other 2 bedrooms off this way. And that should be pretty good. We've got a nice storage area. The next priority would probably be a, like, kitchen. All right, we're already working on building a room, which it's telling us to do. Almost done with the Oh, we're also going to need a door down here. So let me grab a wooden door here. Because this probably is counting as being not indoors, I would guess. Sally Joe's still out. I don't know when she's normally supposed to wake up. Oh, she's not supposed to wake up until past 2. Uh-oh. Our dog just got attacked by a timber wolf. So, I'm going to draft the 2 that are awake. You only have a knife, which is going to be problematic. I would like you to come over here, and you attack. I prefer you didn't shoot anybody, so come over here. Still dangerous. Okay, we managed to kill it. Our dog is pretty hurt, though. Yeah, blood loss trivial, a couple bites. Hopefully our dog doesn't die. That would be bad, obviously. I kind of saw that timber wolf earlier near our camp, and I was worried that that might have been a problem. But I don't think any of our other colonists got hurt, so that's okay. In any case, I think this is a good point to put a cut in the video, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.